Hey Danielle, how you doing? I think that you're really doing a lot of good work here, and it's so obvious that you're working hard, and that's going to be obvious in your final presentation, and that's going to be obvious to the person sitting across the desk from you when you're interviewing for jobs, and I just think it's fantastic, and the effort that you and some of your classmates have been putting in is just really, I think, worth mentioning. So thank you very much for that. This piece looks good. Now, I think one thing that you've noticed is that as we move into the portfolio and we get deeper and deeper into the portfolio, my critiques start to become more and more realistic. Meaning that I don't want to say the word harsh, but they're pointing out more real life problems. And I think that you're responding to that very well. So, so I think, excuse me, I think at this point, I'm going to continue on that trajectory. And I want you to think about what I'm saying as if I were an employer. And I want you to think about being an employer and looking at your own work. Okay, let's take a look at this. These pages are so super modern and clean. I love this site. I think it's fantastic. It's so visually pleasing and welcoming. And we just don't see that on the web anymore, ever. I shouldn't say ever, but I just think it's saying a lot, and it's a beautiful site, and you've done wonderful. The mock-ups are fabulous. I'm going to say go ahead and take an opportunity, or I don't want to say you're missing an opportunity, but I think that you could take this opportunity to show more than 2 pages deep over here in your mock-ups. In other words, show some other pages, show some sub-pages in here. We've seen this. We don't need to see it again. We've seen this. We don't need to see it again. Do you see what I'm saying? Show some other pages in your mock-ups. I think the mock-ups in themselves, I think that's what is important is the screen size. So as you can see over here in the mock-ups, where we start with big, then get smaller, and then smaller. And that's fine, but from a portfolio standpoint, we want to see the work, not the image. So what I would suggest is cropping this so it's a little bit bigger within the frame. Nobody cares about the background. Background's done beautifully, but it's a template, and everyone's going to know that, right? So go ahead and crop it in so we can get a better shot of your work and less shot of the template work. Likewise here. Let's crop that in and get the meat of the matter, so to speak, okay? So that in each frame, the actual work itself is relatively the same size. Not exactly relatively, I'm saying, but you do want to still preserve this idea that this screen is bigger than this screen is bigger than this screen. Okay. And that visual weight I was talking about in that last set of comments, that visual weight I was speaking about was right here. Why is this so huge? Look, this is bigger than her name. And I don't understand all that visual weight down there at the bottom of the footer. So that was those were my comments there. I don't understand. I don't think you need all these big gray bars, these giant typiness. The other thing is right here. Okay. Now you see those gray bars on the side of your mock-ups. Okay. Let's get rid of those, and let's get rid of those here, which means this page is going to sit a little bit larger within the frame of each of these computers, right? And what that's going to do is that's going to eliminate, you've got your navigation bar up top spanning the width of the site. Well, we're going to eliminate this illusion. See these weird areas right here? It creates that weird shape, almost looks like horns. See, there it is here, there it is, there it is here, there it is here. And what that is that's showing this area right here where that the nav bar ends right there, and the screen still is widened, so you're seeing the background, the screen background. See what I'm saying? Let's eliminate that by just cropping that and presenting that bigger within the frame. Okay. Now these mock-ups look great, but I want you to keep in mind, I'm going to talk about mock-ups. Okay. Moving to publication design. This is fabulous. The cover is fantastic. I'm from Cleveland. I get this, man. I think this is really tasty. And guess what? It works with the theme in general, not having to be in Cleveland. I think it works. It shows a really wonderful, timely typographic as well as a visual and photographic approach. Great job. One thing I would suggest here is removing the stroke from welcome to. You can't put a stroke on type. Well, I don't ever put stroke on type personally, ever. but here is showing exactly why you don't. See, in these little areas right here where the letters become thin, the color of the stroke starts overtaking the color of the type, and that's something that I think is a mistake. I would refrain from stroking type there. Back cover looks great. This is good. You know what this shows me as an employer, as a portfolio reviewer, this is showing me that this designer is showing that typography, showing a pretty good handle line time. Not trying to blow me away with this and that and the other, but good. That's the information I need in a portfolio. Are you capable? Not, flashy, beautiful this and are you capable? That's what we're looking for. This image right here is placed in a really precarious area. Let's drop that down so it aligns with the top and the bottom of that paragraph right there. And that'll preserve this left margin right here. It'll eliminate that weird line right there. Okay, and then the only other thing is I think this whole block of type is a little bit high in the page. I think we take this whole block, move it down a little bit, and then you can just move that down to align with a kid again. And then this back page, and again, good, just showing good typesetting. That's all we're asking for. The one thing I recommend here is that center alignment doesn't show good typesetting. So if you can do something with this, if you have time, that's great. If not, I totally get it. Center alignment is basically, well, not a typographic skill that you're showing on a page. I hope that makes sense. Digital graphics. This is, okay, I want to talk about mock-ups, and this is where I have some real questions. Now, this piece, for example, this piece right here, I've been saying for a couple of weeks, and I know that you're just forgetting, but I've been asking now for several weeks, what is this piece? It's that the typographic composition is gorgeous. It's fabulous, actually. But what is the piece? What part did you do? Do you see what I'm saying? You say digital graphic design, but are you responsible for the typography? Is this your image? And you can say that by just giving a little blurb on what the piece is. And I think in a lot of your portfolio pieces, you're not describing the piece. You're just stopping at, and I don't know if this is your final portfolio page, but you're saying section 5B, digital graphics design. That's it. We don't know if did you shoot the image? Did you colorize the image? Did you, is the logo design yours? Is the typographic design yours? What part is yours? Do you see what I'm saying? And that is the important information that someone is going to want to know looking at your portfolio. And so you want to make that specifically clear. So if you say section 5B digital graphics design, and then say FX Studios 2017 winter calendar, and then just under that say logo design, if that's the part that you're responsible for. Do you see what I'm saying? Don't make the portfolio reviewer guess at what part of a project you are responsible for. Okay? Again, here we're going to talk about this template background. Now, the problem I'm seeing with the template background is this, is that, okay, first, I don't know what part you're responsible for here. Okay, so let's say you're responsible for, I don't know, Effects Studios, the logo. That's it. Okay. Now we have this problem where, like, okay, the question is, okay, did you do the image? Is this, what part are you responsible for? Then we go over here, and now we have that same thing as complicated further by the template background. So now I'm saying to myself, okay, so what did you put together? Are you just responsible for assembling this? Do you see what I'm saying? And I hope that makes sense, because that is going to go through the mind of your portfolio reviewer when they're looking at this piece. I know, because it immediately went through my mind, and it did actually a couple of weeks ago when I was asking about the sweater piece. Remember, I was thinking, well, where are we here? What are we? Okay, so, all right, on to the sweater piece. I hope I'm making sense. I really do. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a beautiful ad. This is a gorgeous calendar. Absolutely gorgeous. This is a gorgeous rendering, this template background. But for the second time in as many presentations we've seen, well, I take that back. You didn't use one here, although I would like to see you mock this up and shoot it, photograph it. That would be cool. But here, okay, you've relied on a template here. Okay, here you have it. That's great. But here we're back to a template. Okay. And then here again, back to a template. Okay, so do you see what I'm saying? I mean, it's showing that you know how to use a template to enhance presentation. That's great. But I hope you understand what it's saying. It's also saying that you're kind of relying on that to, boy, I hope I'm making sense. It's a touchy topic because a lot of students, and I wouldn't bring this up if I didn't think that you were capable of understanding, but I do. So that is going to be a question in a portfolio reviewer's mind. And don't take it out. I mean, keep it. I just want you to be aware of that. Okay. And further, every one of these images, including the template backgrounds, are going to have to be credited on your credits page. So I just want to make sure we're aware of that. This, I've always thought from the second I looked at it, this was a wonderful piece. It's the color on the image is almost, the color's almost off, but it's kind of cool because it looks like she's cold, and that's awesome. So that's cool. And I love the typographic composition. So again, what part is yours? What are you responsible for? Okay. This isn't working. The coffee cup isn't working. I think that if you wanted to put this type on a coffee cup, I think it would be cool, but take the coffee cup. Don't use the image, and because it's very clear that you've just taken this image and pasted it over a coffee cup. The contours aren't there in the typography. So what I would suggest doing is just use your type on a coffee cup and map it to the contours of the cup. And you can do that in Photoshop or Illustrator. And well, do it in Photoshop, actually, I think would be better. And just make sure that maps to the contours of the cup. Again, what part are you responsible for? Do you see what I'm saying? And what is adventure? So tell us, is it an adventure pizza shop? And you're responsible for the logo. That tells me immediately, okay, this is great. Now I know what I'm looking at. Exactly. Do you see what I'm saying? So then I can look at this and go, okay, so this designer's not kind of pretending that they are responsible for putting this whole thing together. Now I know that it's logo design. I get it. I understand the capabilities and the limitations. And that gives the portfolio reviewer information they need. Okay, so a little bit of written information here is going to go a long, long way. Love the logo. I like it a lot. I think that the adventure, I don't think confining it in these two horizontal rules is necessarily a good idea. I think that the rule on the bottom is good and it indicates direction. It also indicates a little bit of danger as one side is pointed, and that's adventure. Yes. But confining it in on the top and kind of boxing it in, I think, is a mistake. I would open that up to allow the word adventure to kind of break out and have this relationship with infinity, like adventure does. Okay. Package design. These look great. This is fabulous. These are wonderful mock-ups. The one thing I would do here is I would just take these in Photoshop and adjust the color to something that might be a little more realistic in terms of food color and expectations of food color. There are studies that show that colors that aren't natural food colors aren't appetizing to humans. So this color right here would immediately be out, as probably would this. And I'm guessing this might too. So just think about that, a little bit more of a natural color, less kind of a neon type kind of chemical color. I hope that makes sense. All right. Sorry, I went almost 15 minutes. I'm so sorry about that. I get talking, but you are so close. You are right there. So any questions at all, please just let me know. All right. Thanks. Good job.